Let's talk about the best buy lows in Dynasty football today. You're going to get a lot of takes from me, but I'm also going to let you guys speak. We're going to hear from the community, and you're going to give me your best buy lows. But starting off with a running back. Everyone, and I mean everyone, on every thread, every Reddit post, every X, every article that's written, the question is, will it be Travis Etienne or Bashul Tutin leading the Jags in 2025? Tank Bigsby is an afterthought at this point. No one is even considering Tank Bigsby, and that's why he's become one of my favorite buy lows in Dynasty football. Keep in mind, brand new staff in Jacksonville, right? Out with the old, in with the new. Liam Cohen is the head of the snake there, which means there are no loyalties to anyone in this backfield. So that leads us to ask the question, well, what has Liam Cohen rewarded in the past? What did he reward from his running backs in Tampa Bay? There are three things. Number one, he rewarded efficiency. Number two, he rewarded play extending. And number three, he rewarded explosiveness. And we saw that last year in Tampa Bay. Remember, Rachaad White was coming off a year where he was a top 15 running back in fantasy football. But last year, Bucky Irving had a better PFF grade, but more efficient. You can see 5.4 yards per attempt compared to 4.2. He was extending plays more often when you look at the yards after contact and missed tackles force number. And he was far more explosive when you look at that breakaway percentage number. And you can see that's why last year Liam Cohen almost gave Bucky Irving 100 more rushing attempts than a Rachaad White. And that was more and more emphasized as the season went on and on. From week 12 onwards, after the bye week in Tampa Bay, you can see Bucky Irving averaging 19.6 touches per game. It was completely Bucky's backfield after he showed what Liam was looking for in a running back. So now we have to ask the question, what running back in this Jacksonville backfield has shown they can offer that? Efficiency, play extending, and explosiveness. Well, we haven't seen anything from Tutin yet in the NFL, but between Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby last year, and don't give me this BS about, well, you have to, give a break to Etienne because he was injured. So was Tank Bigsby. They were both dealing with injuries. Every NFL player is dealing with injuries, but last year in the same offense, behind the same offensive line, Tank Bigsby was a superior player. He was more efficient, almost a full yards per attempt more efficient. He had a better yards after contact per attempt number, a better missed tackles force number by miles. He was a better play extender. He was far more explosive. He had more explosive plays for this offense. And even the previous regime was giving him more rushing attempts than Travis Etienne last year. It's not really even an opinion. It's just a fact that Bigsby was the better back last year. And we just saw Liam Cohen, that is, new head coach, replace a high usage running back with low efficiency in Tampa Bay last year. I mean, guys, Rachaad White in 2023 was coming off a season, 342 touches, 15.8 points per game, but very low efficiency, 3.6 yards per attempt. Is that not exactly what we just saw from Etienne in 2023 in his lone good season? This is the same year, by the way, for both of these running backs. Put these guys both on the screen because both had 325 touches in 2023. Both had great fantasy seasons, technically on a points per game basis, but both were extremely inefficient. Very poor efficiency. Liam Cohen has already shown us that he is willing to replace a guy like this. And yes, even last offseason, Liam Cohen was saying positive things about Rachaad White, as he will do this offseason with Travis Etienne. Not a soul is giving Bigsby a chance to win this job. He's very affordable, and that's why I want to go buy him. You can send away a third in any year. Sometimes you have to pay a third and a fourth. Here are some players that you can use in a trade. Can you send away Jaylen Warren, Tajay Spears, Braylon Allen, Travis Kelce, Jonnu Smith, Rashid Shaheed? You can see here are some real trades that have happened in real leagues. We have a database here on the Flock site that can show you real trades. Someone sent a third like we talked about. Someone sent away Audric Estime. Someone sent away Keaton Mitchell in a third. These are the type of cheap, affordable deals. He can even be a throw-in in a bigger trade that you're making where you can add some Tank Bigsby. All right. The next group we're looking at is a group of wide receivers from the same team, and that is Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall. I believe both of these guys are really great buy lows, and I think they will return value on their current price. Let's start with Brandon Ayuk. What a difference a single year makes in the dynasty markets. Just last year, the entire community was obsessed with Brandon Ayuk. I mean, he was ranked as high as wide receiver 12, and yet today he's a lowly wide receiver 35. So I want to remind you guys why you fell in love with Ayuk in the first place. It's a little bit like marriage counseling, all right? I'm now your therapist. Now we're in the session. I'm saying, let's remember why we did this in the first place. Let's remember why we made our vows. Last offseason, Brandon Ayuk was coming off back-to-back years where he improved his fantasy points per game and receiving numbers. You can see that. he truly established himself as one of the top options in San Francisco. And on a per target basis, he was one of the most efficient wide receivers in the entire league. Then the 49ers rewarded him with a big old contract, a big old payday, some cheese, right? $120 million over a 4-year deal. Still today, he is making more money than A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, and Devonta Smith. So what's changed in the offseason? Well, firstly, Juwan Jennings emerged last year, right? So things are muddier for people in their mind, right? That's fine for me because there is no Deebo Samuel on this team anyway. Last year, you were competing with 4 names: Deebo, Kittle, CMC, Pearsall. This year, you're competing with 4 names: Kittle, CMC, Pearsall, Jennings, okay? If you look at that depth chart, Ricky Pearsall and Ayuk both are set up to have important roles in this offense. And the other reason that we have seen Ayuk's value take a dip is because of the injury that he's coming off of, right? Torn ACL, MCL, we have seen so many wide receivers recover from that injury and still have very successful careers. We've seen great updates from the San Francisco staff. And then even sports doctors that I trust over there, like Jeff Mueller on Twitter, have, been posting very positively about him. I reached out to Jeff Mueller and shout out to him. Go give him a follow. He does great work on his YouTube and his Twitter. But you can read that top little message there if you want. But that bottom message, I really wanted to know his opinion. He said, with the info I have, I still think there's a chance he's active week 1, but a good chance San Francisco decides to be conservative with him and have him return week 5 after a PUP stint. So then he goes on to say, I think he'll be producing / paying off at cost by mid-season. That's what we really want to know. And then you can see sometimes where Jeff has kind of tweeted about him at the Warriors game, looking like a normal person, full weight on his body, right? Playing golf with the team. Everything looks like he is on track to recover his value. Now, let's talk about Ricky Pearsall. His stats will not impress last year, and that's because he was shot in the freaking chest. So let's leave any statistical argument out of this for now. But again, there is no Deebo Samuel, so there should be more opportunities in this offense. And if Ayuk does start on the PUP list, Pearsall could break out earlier than we're anticipating. He might be the number 1 wide receiver, him or Juwan Jennings, day 1 in this offense, right? I mean, Pearsall had 5 games where he showed incredible flashes, including the season enders with week 17, 29 points, week 18, 19 PPR points. And if you look at his season, in games where he averaged over 70% of the snaps, which is what I anticipate him playing this year, at least 70% of the snaps, he averaged 12.1 PPR points per game. He should be a legitimate flex this year, the same way you view a Jordan Addison, a Jameson Williams. And the good news is both of these wide receivers will have consistent quarterback play because, Brock Purdy was just paid a bag. He will be here for the foreseeable future. Both are on an offense, by the way, that has been elite in previous seasons, You can see in 2022 and 2023, they were both top 6 in points per game. Last year, CMC was injured, Ayuk was injured. With those guys healthy, they should recover in a big way. So they're pretty much the same price right now in the market, Pearsall and Ayuk. So you can make these trades for, either one of them. But you can see, basically, we're sending away a future early second and a third in value. In most leagues, you don't have to pay a first for Pearsall, but you might have to pay a first for Ayuk, right? But you can send away players like Evans in a third, Chris Godwin in a third, Cortland Sutton in a third, Jaden Reed, Khalil Shakir, Tyreek Hill. These are the names that you can use to try and get a deal done with Ayuk. Here's some real trades that have happened in real leagues. Someone sent away the 206 this year and the 212 for Ayuk. Another one where someone sent a future second, a couple late round picks this year. Someone sent Jaden Reed straight up. Jacoby Myers. I know we don't all agree on Jacoby Myers here, but I would love to use him in a tier up for Brandon Ayuk. So go buy you some Niner wide receivers. If you want an in-depth breakdown of your team with customized trade targets, players to buy, sell, hold, then get your team playbook today by either becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND or by going directly to the Flock store, regardless of what promo code you're on. And if you want it done live, make sure you get the live tier. Those links are in the pinned comment. Let's talk about the most underrated running back in Dynasty all offseason long. And he remains, after the draft, the most underrated running back. That is Chuba Hubbard. Let's walk through a timeline of Chuba Hubbard's 2024 year. Number 1, the team drafts Jonathan Brooks in round 2 of the NFL draft. The entire community, rightfully so, I even fell into this trap, just obliterated Chuba's value completely into irrelevancy. He was the running back 61 on July 1st of 2024. Then Chuba completely dominates in the 2024 season. The one bright spot in this offense, 16.1 points per game, 300 plus touches, 4.8 yards per carry. He had the 5th highest yards per attempt amongst running backs with at least 250 carries. And if you look at that list, He's the only running back that was efficient like this on a terrible offense. I mean, the Panthers were 29th in yards per game and 23rd in offensive points per game. Then this team signs him to a long-term contract, 4 years, $33 million, and a month later, Jonathan Brooks goes down, torn ACL in the same knee that he tore in Texas. Brooks will not play for the entirety of the 2025 season. We don't even know when he'll be relevant again. Chuba is the guy that makes this offense churn. What happens if the Panthers offense takes a step up this year? What could Chuba Hubbard be? And what is the reason why he's so affordable? I don't get it. He's a great RB2 on contending rosters. I would send multiple seconds for Chuba Hubbard. I would send players like Mike Evans, Jaden Reed, Joe Mixon, David Montgomery, Tyreek Hill, Khalil Shakir. Here are some real trades. Someone sent away the 205 and the 311. Someone sent away Deebo Samuel. Someone sent away Juwan Jennings and the 212. And maybe a more realistic trade, DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is a name that you can kind of churn into a starting running back there with Chuba Hubbard. We're now going to look at some of your sell highs. I tweeted out pretty recently. I asked you guys, what is the best buy low in Dynasty football right now? And you guys had so many comments. I can only highlight a few. There are so many great ideas there, so go check it out. But let's have a look at your ideas. Number one from Joel Verse, great member of our community. He says TJ Hawkinson. Prior to the ACL injury, TJ was a tight end 3 in tight end premium scoring. He put up 266 points, missed 7 games last season, and once back, averaged about 11 points per game from week 7 on. Tight ends are a first-year quarterback's friend. I think he bounces back. Get him on your squads. I definitely think TJ is a reasonable price right now. If you're going to go out and send a second, wouldn't send a first, but a second is a very reasonable price to go get TJ Hawkinson. Now, a lot of you have said Dak Prescott, right? Gage says Dak Prescott. We see here Halp says Dak Prescott. We see Ron says Dak Prescott. A lot of people here saying Dak Prescott. I mean, for example, we have Halp here who says priced below the top 20 quarterbacks on KTC, 1 year removed from being quarterback 3 overall, and actually averaged more attempts per game last year than he did in 2023. You add George Pickens, running back room might improve. So I kind of agree with this. We've been telling you guys to buy Dak Prescott most of the offseason. He's been one of the most affordable picks that you can make, trades that you can make. In a Superflex league, he and Brock Purdy are some of the best trades you can make in Dynasty football. All right, we got another submission here from Scotty. Shout out to Scotty. He does great work for us with the Dynasty trade dial. He says, call me crazy, but Tyreek Hill fell from the KTC wide receiver 8 before the season to the wide receiver 42. Dude played part of the year with Skylar Thompson and Snoop Huntley and still finished as a wide receiver 2 in PPR. It's gross, I know, but sometimes it is the best time to buy low. So Tyreek Hill is a decent buy low for contending rosters for sure. This one might not apply to every roster. If you're a middling team or if you're a rebuilding team, you're probably not going to go buy Tyreek. But if you can send a mid-second for Tyreek on a contending roster, I think it does make a lot of sense. All right, how about Brandon Ayuk here from Primetime KG? We're on the same page. Y'all already heard my take, so I agree with this one. How about Jerry Jeudy from Lotions 11? Now, if you don't know, I've already brought Jerry Jeudy before as a player that I trust, so we're on the same page there. Heat Map Fantasy said Malik Washington. Tyreek seems to be begging to get out of Miami at this point and is also old. So Malik Washington, we've already heard about how much this coaching staff loves him. My only concern is if Tyreek doesn't make it past this year, does Mike McDaniel make it past this year? And then you have to ask the question what a new staff thinks about him. But I like him as a stash for sure. We have another one here from KC who says Jaden Reed. I get that the opportunity hasn't gotten any cleaner, but we saw what he's capable of given some opportunities. I got him for the 212 in one of my leagues. Look, if you're going to pay a late second for Jaden Reed, I'm all aboard that price point. I do think he's a talented player. I just wish the target share would follow that. We have another submission from Whodat. He says David Montgomery. People seem to believe that he's going to take some major backseat to Gibbs, and it just isn't going to happen like that. He's at worst a weekly flex starter that KTC values between an early, mid, second, and if something were to happen to Gibbs, he's a start and forget RB1. I definitely think Monty is another one of those guys like Tyreek Hill who's in that category where if you can send a mid-second and you're a contending roster, again, it makes so much sense to go out and get a David Montgomery in that format. How about Alex Claus who says Zach Charbonnet? Ken Walker is in the last year of his contract and has shown problems staying healthy. When Sharps has been the starter, he has been a worthy top 5 to 10 producer. If Ken Walker ever gets traded or goes down, Sharps to the moon. I definitely like this one as well. Charbonnet is a very good buy low because you can have him as a handcuff, but then there's obviously this scenario where his value improves. We all have seen how effective he is as a starter. So I like that one from Alex. But let me know what you guys think about these takes in the comments below. Do me a favor, hit that like button and show some love. Subscribe if you like the content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Nothing but love. People just came into our house and did a fire alarm test and then turn off the power. So I was about done recording this video and everything got corrupted. So trying to keep a positive attitude for this video. Here we go. Let's talk about the let's talk about the best Come on. If you're thinking about supporting us in this economy, that's big love and you deserve love in return. So for every yearly Motherflocker member who uses the promo code LAND, we're giving out a free team playbook, our 2025 rookie report, access to all premium tools, free site vouchers, and of course, a huge thank you from the LAND crew. You're far too kind. That's love.